Hey guys, so let's chat for a second about the unspoken secret that's going on with this farm to table movement that's happening throughout this country. Now, I'm going to start by saying yes, I absolutely 100% believe in the farm to table movement. But there are a few things that we're not talking about, that people aren't talking about when it comes to fresh produce and what's being given to us from the industry or even locally. So I want to talk with you for a few minutes about how I feel about it and what made me start thinking about it again. So our goal is to eat fresh fruits and fresh produce, right? That is our goal. After all, we all know that fresh food is better. I 100% believe in the farm to table movement, but I also know that the farm to table movement is not enough. I know that just searching out fresh fruits and fresh vegetables is not enough. And let me explain to you why. So I was having a conversation with my mom and dad over the weekend, and my dad has been a farmer his entire life. He has farmed. And my mom's been a farmer since she met my dad and married him. So throughout their lives, they have farmed, and they've seen the changes that have been happening within the industry. And my dad made a statement to me that literally made me think again about how I was going about my nutrition. And it made me remember the reason that this is so important, which again inspired me to come on and talk to you guys about it today. So my dad said, there's a problem when they produce plants and seeds that can survive Roundup. So let that sink in for a second. The plants and seeds that the industry is giving to our farmers to grow can survive Roundup. They can survive all of these chemicals that are sprayed on them to prevent bug growth and whatever it is they try to prevent when they spray all these chemicals. But if the plants themselves can survive that, there is something going on with those plants. There is something that has been changed within those plants' DNA that is making them able to survive such a harsh chemical treatment. And that's throughout the lifespan of the plant. So when you think about this, you think more and more about what you can do to make things a little bit better. So let me start talking about what's going on with this farm to table movement and why it's changed so much over the years. Study after study is showing us that the nutrients within our soil are so much less than what they used to be, even 20 years ago. They're showing that because of the over farming within the United States and trying to produce more and more to feed more and more, there aren't as many nutrients within our soil. And that's just logical because the soil is not given time to rest and replenish. They're continually growing crops over and over and over. So the nutrients are lacking within the crops. That's the first problem. So there aren't as many nutrients within the soil. The next problem is that these plants they're giving our farmers, the plants and seeds, have been genetically modified to grow faster and to grow bigger. When a plant's growing faster, it's not absorbing and making all of the nutrients firm within itself. So when you're growing it faster and larger, that means you're harvesting it faster. So the plant is not in the ground long enough to maintain the nutrients that it was meant to maintain. Another problem is all of these modified plants and the chemicals that they're treated with throughout the growing stages are causing havoc within our bodies, literally causing havoc within our bodies. So we don't have the nutrients in the soil. We're growing plants that have been designed to grow faster, which means they're not retaining the nutrients within themselves. So we're buying plants with less nutrients from soil and with less nutrients just naturally because the growth process has been shortened with the goal in mind to produce more and to produce faster because we're feeding more and more people. So all of these things is a problem. Even the locally grown produce doesn't have the amount of nutrients in the plants that it used to. Because again, the local farmers, even the local farmers, are getting these plants that have been modified to maintain and to grow faster and to maintain their health throughout all of the chemicals or the different bugs and things like that. So the plant quality has changed substantially over the years. And like I said, when I was talking to my mom and dad about it, he's having a hard time finding quality plants that he trusts, quality seed and quality plant that he trusts to grow in his local, his garden right down the hill. And that's pretty bad. If even our small, small homegrown farmers can't even find good plants and good seeds, there's an issue going on there. There's something wrong with the system, literally. So why do you think I'm so concerned about it? Why do you think this really fires me up and irritates me just a little bit? It's only because I know that nutrition is literally either our medicine or our actual, I guess you could say nutrition can literally poison us. It's the truth. If we're not cautious about what we're eating and what we're buying with our fresh produce, we can literally poison ourselves with all of these chemicals that they're giving us within this produce. So most definitely, if you can find local homegrown produce, that's most definitely the route you want to go. But you also have to remember that this just isn't the only single solution. There are still issues within those plants and the seeds that are grown locally. So I want to share with you my top 3 tips to help correct some of these problems and some of the things that I think will absolutely help us in the long run. The first tip is to know where you buy your food. Know where your food comes from. If you can buy locally, that's the best. If you can buy organic, that's even better. Now let's just be honest. We don't always buy organic and we don't always buy locally. But if you can search out something that's even from the United States within your grocery store, that's best. And if you can buy organic, if you can afford it, if you can find it, that's really the best as well. Because those are supposed to have less chemicals and are supposed to be healthier. But you still have to remember that organic produce can contain some chemical. I mean, it can be treated with chemical and can have some things on it. So it's not 100% perfect. None of these solutions are 100% perfect. So just know where your food comes from. Locally, organic, fresh, of course. And also frozen produce, frozen vegetables are a good source of nutrients. They pack those vegetables at their peak, which means even though the nutrients aren't as much as they used to be years and years ago, it's still at their peak. So they still have the most amount of nutrients they're going to have in their life cycle. And they flash freeze them, which means they contain more nutrients. So that's even a good option, is to buy frozen. But just remember that local produce is the best if you can find it. I know some of us don't have access to it. And organic, of course, that's not always the way we can do it. I mean, we can't always buy organic. We can't always find it. But just remember that knowing where your food comes from is one of the best ways to ensure you're at least getting more nutrition than what you could be getting. The second tip I have to handle the lack of nutrients within our food is to keep our gut healthy. Now, I know you've probably heard the term gut health. And let me just tell you that this is the key to keeping ourselves healthy, I honestly believe. Because within our gut, within the intestines in our stomach, within the lining, the intestines, this is where we absorb the nutrients from our food. This is where our body breaks down the nutrients and absorbs the nutrients. If we're not keeping our gut healthy, then it's not able to absorb even the nutrients that are within the food that we're eating. So if we're getting less nutrients within the food, and then our intestines and our gut are not healthy enough to absorb those nutrients, we're just even compounding the problem more. So keeping our gut healthy is really one of the best ways to ensure that we're at least absorbing the nutrition that we're eating. A few ways that I recommend to keep our gut healthy: of course, probiotics. That's one of the best ways. We need the good bacteria within our digestive system to keep things functioning properly. Also, things like bone broth are one of the best ways to keep our gut healthy. It actually helps it heal. It helps the intestines heal. Another option is fiber. That's really important. As a pharmacist, I spend a lot of time talking about fiber, and I know that we aren't eating enough fiber within our diets, but we literally need fiber to keep our digestive system moving as it should be. Another option is fish oil. This helps with inflammation. And of course, decreasing sugar intake and decreasing processed foods helps with inflammation. The less inflammation we have within our stomach, within our intestines, within our gut, the more likely our gut is to function properly, and the more likely we are to absorb the nutrients. So that's the second tip I have, is to try your best to keep inflammation down within your body and keep your gut healthy. Now, the third tip I have is to find a reputable source for a supplement. And when I say reputable source, I mean do your research. Find a supplement that is clean, that you can actually count on, that you can believe in the integrity of. Find a supplement that is loaded with vitamins and minerals and nutrients to supplement your body. Because literally, we are not getting the nutrients that we need. Our body is starving for nutrients that it needs. There's a statement that I've heard that we are the most overfed but undernourished society. We are eating so many processed foods, we're eating so much of them, but we're not having the nourishment and the nutrients that we need. So finding a supplement to supplement the nutrients within your body is one of the best ways to help ensure that you're getting enough of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs to actually function. So now, when I talk about a reputable supplement, of course you guys know that I am an avid Shakeology drinker and an absolute believer in Shakeology. That's why I've partnered with Beachbody and I've partnered with Shakeology to bring it to people that I care about and to absolutely talk about it and share about it and talk about why it's helped me. I know that absolutely supplementing my nutrition with something clean and healthy and that's reputable is the most dependable way to ensure that my body has the nutrients that it needs to function properly. I mean, we're all busy. We all can't eat like we're supposed to. We all can't eat fresh and healthy all of the time. It's just a fact of life. It's just how it is. And sometimes we're going to eat processed food. Sometimes we're going to eat things that we shouldn't eat. But if we have at least one option and at least one supplement that gives us a little bit of a kind of like a buffer within our system that we can know 100% every single day we're going to give our bodies, that's at least one way that we can help ourselves stay on track and help ourselves stay as healthy as possible. And with me being a pharmacist and with my background in research and studying and looking at actual studies and evidence and all of these things, I did my research on Shakeology and I did my research on the supplement that I was going to commit to literally for the rest of my life. And I know 100% hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, that the integrity of Shakeology and the integrity of Beachbody is amazing. That's why I've partnered with it. That's why I talk about it all the time. And that's why I've used it for over 3 years to supplement the nutrients that I know are lacking within my body. The nutrients that I know that I need throughout the day to continue to keep my body functioning as it should. So those are my top 3 tips. Tip 1, know where your food comes from. Tip 2, do everything you can to keep your gut healthy and to decrease inflammation. And tip 3, find a reputable source for a supplement that can actually supply your body with that actually can supply your body with nutrients that it's lacking, but something that is clean and not laden with all kinds of chemicals and processed crap, literally. So those are my top 3 tips to help deal with some of the issues that come from our fresh fruits and vegetables not having the nutrients that they used to. And it's just going to be part of life. I mean, with our population as large as it is, the farming is just going to continue to get larger, and that's just going to mean that we're going to continue to be using our soil more than we should and not giving it rest time. That's going to continue to mean that the nutrients are going to be lacking within our soil, and our fresh produce isn't going to contain the same amount that it used to. So we're going to have to be vigilant with our own health, take care of ourselves, and do everything we can to make sure that we're staying as healthy as possible. That's just a fact of life. That's just how it is. So I hope you guys I hope that this has opened your eyes. I mean, just remember the statement that my dad made when he said to me, you know, when the industry makes plants and seeds that can survive Roundup, there's a problem. Just remember that. If that's the only thing you remember from this video, just remember that. There is a problem when a plant can survive Roundup. Plain and simple. So thank you guys for jumping on. Thank you guys for joining me. I absolutely appreciate it. And let me just say this. If what I've talked about today strikes something within you and makes you irritated and mad at the industry as well, shoot me a message, send me an email, KristenRatliffHealth@gmail.com. Let's chat about this. Let's talk about some of the things that I've done to help supply my body with nutrition, some of the things that I know as a pharmacist. Let's talk about it. I love to share. I love to talk about what it is that I know can absolutely help you naturally be healthier. I'm all about being healthier in a natural way, and I'm all about doing everything we can to make our bodies as healthy as possible so that we can feel better and have more energy and absolutely function better than we ever thought we could before. So let's talk about the things that I've chatted about today, my top 3 tips. If you have any questions, again, send me an email at KristenRatliffHealth@gmail.com, and I'll put that in the link. I'll put a link in the comments below this video as well. Send me an email. I love to talk about it. I love to share the things that I know help, and the things that I know are natural, and the things that I know we can do simply and easily to take control of our health. So you guys have a great afternoon. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, send me an email at KristenRatliffHealth@gmail.com. Y'all have a great afternoon.